3 houses. That's all the notice they gave me before bulldozers were set to roll over my late wife's $2 million dream home. Priscilla Whitmore and her designer heels clicked across my gravel like she was walking a runway, a smirk barely concealed behind a mask of fake sympathy. "Mr. Morrison," she started, voice sugary but cold. "I really am sorry it came to this, but safety is our top priority." Then she handed me a violation notice that made my heart drop. $195,000 for emergency structural violations. I didn't know whether to laugh or throw the thing back in her face. She told me, just as calm as if we were discussing the weather, that emergency safety protocols didn't allow for delays no matter how much I wanted to appeal. And then, with that plastic smile never slipping, she looked me in the eye and assured me this was for the good of the community. Right then and there I realized she thought I was just another grieving old man, someone she could bulldoze along with my house without so much as a peep. That's when I decided if I was going down, I'd go down swinging. Name's Calvin Morrison, 63, officially retired, but once upon a time I was a government consultant, and for a while governor of this state. Priscilla had no idea what she'd just stirred up. She had no clue about the promise I made my wife or what I'd do to keep it. But let's rewind, because this train wreck started long before the demolition notices. 3 years back, my wife Sarah and I bought our mountain place through a blind trust. Public life meant privacy was a rare jewel, especially with Sarah fighting stage 4 cancer. All she wanted was peace, a place for her to watch sunrises and plant wildflowers, her own little paradise far from politics and the noise of the world. She poured herself into that land, designed every beam, every stone, every wild patch behind the house. Her favorite thing was that wildflower meadow said it was for the butterflies. I can still see her out there, fragile in her wheelchair, but smiling like a kid when the monarchs came. Cancer took her 6 months ago. Then heart surgery nearly took me. My daughter Emma's off in the Air Force. Most days it's just me, the wind, and the memory of Sarah's wind chimes singing in the mountain breeze. That was the piece Priscilla smashed right through. 42 white Tesla license plate, in Force 1, the sort of person who measures her self-worth in square footage and HOA rules. She's got the suburban dictator vibe down to an art. First time we met, she was standing in Sarah's wildflower's heels, sinking into the dirt, frowning at the butterflies like they'd broken the law. "Mr. Morrison," she said, offering a manicured hand, "we need to discuss your landscaping situation. I kept it civil. What situation would that be?" She motioned to the wildflowers, Sarah's pride and joy. "This isn't a hippie commune, sir. Your property is bringing down everyone's values." That stung. Sarah had just passed, and here was someone trying to erase the last thing she left behind. But all Priscilla saw was a target, someone vulnerable, easy to pressure. She gave me 30 days to correct the wildflowers or cough up $25,000. That's the moment I realized I'd wandered into a rigged game. And still I believed at first that reasonable people could work things out. Turns out Priscilla didn't do reasonable. Next thing I know, she's making my life a living hell. Every week, a new violation, a new fine. Log siding, inappropriate stone foundation, deteriorating community aesthetics. Every visit, another ticket on my door, another threat. It took me a while to catch on. She'd been pulling this scam for 2 years. Mostly went after widows, people weighed down by grief, or bills, people who'd rather give up than fight. She'd cook up impossible fines, then help sell the property for a song to her developer buddies. The day she tried it on me, all I could think about was Sarah's voice. "Promise me you'll keep the butterflies safe." I thought I could. I really did. Then one morning, coffee in hand, I heard that familiar crunch of Priscilla's Tesla. She handed me a violation so big it nearly slipped out of her claws. $65,000 for non-compliant log construction. My mansion, the house Sarah designed, suddenly branded an eyesore. She wasn't just going after wildflowers anymore. She wanted it all. I called Jake Morrison, the best contractor around. He helped build my house. He took one look at the violation and snorted. "Mark, this is a joke. Your place is overbuilt. Premium grade, meets every code." That's when I learned about HOA laws, how they can't just make up new rules and slap them on existing homes. But Priscilla didn't care. She waved around her so-called emergency authority like a badge. That night, sitting on my porch, I whispered to Sarah's wind chimes, "Looks like we've got a fight coming." And fight I did. Weeks went by. Priscilla escalated, bringing her so-called engineer, a guy with a hard hat and zero clue, to inspect my house. Suddenly, I was hit with 125 grand in structural violations. The report was pure fiction. I called a real engineer, Tom Bradley. He spent hours with real tools, not clipboards, and told me this is some of the best work I've seen. Tom let slip he'd done similar checks for other seniors, forced sales, fake emergencies, all orchestrated by Priscilla. So I did what any good politician would. I started talking to people. I organized a coffee club at the community center. That club turned into an underground support group of 8 each with a story that'd turn your stomach. We figured it out. Priscilla was preying on people like us, fabricating emergencies, fast-tracking demolition, then flipping the land for profit. But there's this little thing called the law. Emergency demolition requires certified danger, 72 hours notice, independent assessment. She had none of it. When I got the demolition notice 21 days before they'd destroy Sarah's home, I decided enough was enough. I called the Attorney General's office quietly, anonymously. I'd spent a career learning how to fight bullies hiding behind titles. This time, the bully had no idea who she was up against. With my demolition date looming, Priscilla made her boldest move. She rolled up with 2 guys in hard hats, a camera woman, and started documenting cracks in my foundation. Except the cracks didn't exist until her hired crew created them right there with sledgehammers. What she didn't know was I'd already wired the property with cameras. Every blow, every lie caught on tape. The news broke big. Channel 7 ran the story mountain. HOA targeting seniors, forcing sales, running a fraud racket. State police, FBI, the Attorney General's office, they all took notice. Turns out I wasn't the only one tired of Priscilla's act. The final act came at the emergency HOA meeting. Priscilla at the podium, news cameras, rolling, the whole town watching. She thought she was about to celebrate her biggest score, my house, the last holdout. She called me up for my final remarks. Folks expected a broken old man. Instead, I told them everything. Every fraud, every fake violation, every bribe. And then, for good measure, I showed them my governor's badge. That room went dead silent. Priscilla Whitmore, you're under arrest for organized fraud, elder abuse, and racketeering. The FBI moved in cuffs out. Her face, man, I wish Sarah had been there to see it. Justice was swift. Restitution for every family, millions returned. The HOA dissolved and replaced with honest oversight. Sarah's wildflower meadow, now a protected sanctuary. Emma came home, helped expand the garden. Mrs. Kowalski got her house back and started a scholarship. Tom Bradley launched a program to help vets avoid scams. 6 months later, butterflies are back, wind chimes singing justice done. I sit on my porch penning my last thoughts to Sarah in her journal. We protected what mattered. We proved that courage, when backed by love and the truth, can stand up to any bully. So here's the thing. Where does community end and abuse of power begin? How far should we go to protect what we love? If you've ever faced down a bully or seen justice win out against all odds, I want to hear about it. Share your story, your thoughts, right here. Because justice isn't just about laws. It's about people willing to stand up and fight. And sometimes that's the only thing that makes all the difference.